Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nissim Black Show. My beloveds, always happy to be here with you. Now, the truth is, part 2 of Iran and Israel 12-day war, we hope that it doesn't happen, but it's looking like it's about to happen. Things are heating up. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the headlines. I don't know if anybody's watching the news or watching alternative news networks, but it is heating up. So much so that Bibi Netanyahu went to the White House to go meet with President Trump. Actually, I don't even think they went to the White House. I think he went to Florida. Could be that he's also in the White House as well, but I think he's actually in Florida, Mar-a-Lago, with President Trump and discussing heavy matters. The ceasefire, obviously, with Gaza is one of the things on the docket. The war with Iran and the aggression and the overall Middle East, what's going on with the Abraham Accords. I thought more nations were supposed to be joining. More nations. Come on, we wanted to bring in everybody. Not so fast. Now, there's a lot of talk right now going on about President Trump and his ties to Qatar. We obviously know, us here in the lands of Israel, we are not fans of Qatar. It just is what it is. Hey, wait 1 second. You've been watching my content pretty regularly, and the only thing is that you have not subscribed yet. Subscribe. I can see from this right here. It's telling me that the overwhelming majority of you have not subscribed, but you're here watching all the time. Please show me that love. Let's build this thing together. Just hit that sub button. Hit the sub button. Smash the like button, if you will. This will help us spread this in the algorithm, and we will grow together. Thank you so much. Back to the show. Now, the only issue that I have here with President Trump, and I know there's a lot of theories out there, and and many people have been trying to explain it. Other people just taking that leap, and I'm not against it. I'm just saying, specifically when it comes to this administration, when it comes to President Trump, I don't think we have his card. I don't think we know. I honestly don't know. I mean, just throughout his year of a presidency, really, he's only been in the office for 1 year. The amount of emotional roller coasters that for sure the people of Israel have been going through. And what I say, just not just the people of Israel, extending that even to evangelical Christians who are big supporters, would consider themselves Zionists as well. All of us have been going through this up and down roller coaster, trying to figure out where Trump is. And then all of a sudden, him and Bibi show up. There's this aversion. Bibi and Trump are not good. And then all of a sudden you turn around and here they are together and they're dropping, B-2 bombs in Iran together. And you just can never really say that we got Trump down. We just don't know, really. I really don't know. The Qatar thing makes me extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. In every way, it has the appearance of, listen, it's money being thrown at the president of the United States. It's being money spent, and we know that a lot of this money is going to indoctrinating and paying off, some of these crazy nefarious characters. But the truth of it is that when it comes to President Trump, I just don't think we got his hand yet. Whether you like, love, or whatever the case is, I don't know how to honestly assess this. I'm not covering. I just have been watching. And I've been seeing how skilled he has been about what he will say, what he won't say. And he'll say something and then do something completely opposite of what he said, because he's been here before. And he knows that the overwhelming majority of people who have outlets, right, are not on his side. Even some of those characters, right, who, people like to say, quote unquote, were responsible or helped him get elected, who were supporters of his, who have now turned their back, i.e. Candace Owens and others, right? I think Nick Fuentes as well. Now, the truth of the matter is that now, even more so, I would say even more than his last term, he's got enemies from without, but then also from within. Now, he would say that often about those who were Democrats or those who were on the left. But it's looking like, honestly, it's even happening within the fringe, Republican Party, which even more so tells us that when Trump is saying one thing, or if actions are looking like they're going in a particular direction, we can't 100% judge it, because he may make an action or may actually do something that is completely, the opposite of what we actually thought. So before we even get into what Donald Trump had to say, I want you to see how much misinformation is actually floating from even those people who will call themselves, American first. You got to watch this clip from yours truly. You'll know who it is.
It's Friday, May 9th, 2025. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Trump was going to have his big announcement yesterday of a ceasefire. That fell through with Russia and Ukraine. Looks like, as usual, Zelensky is double dealing like he did with the minerals deal 10 times until he finally signed it. But Trump keeps pushing. If it follows the trend, we will get a major ceasefire deal and then a deal to hold the peace, I would guess, in the next month or so. But it's still going to take time. The bigger issue is Benjamin Netanyahu. I was told by very high-level sources close to the president a month ago that Trump detests Netanyahu, absolutely hates his guts, knows he wants to start potentially nuclear war with Iran. And I told you that a month ago. Now you see it in the news that Trump is done with Netanyahu. So Trump is really trying to stop war, really trying to stabilize the planet. We're winning the trade war massively right now.
So much propaganda with that. There's a lot of propaganda with that. I mean, there's several things. One of the things that makes that whole clip right there from propaganda is the fact that you see from all the pictures that he's showing pictures where he's with the Democratic presidents who actually did not like Trump. It was very well noted that, Barack Obama did not like not Trump, but Bibi Netanyahu. They're showing pictures of Bibi Netanyahu with President Obama, with Biden, as if, you have to be diplomatic. Whoever's in office at the time, Bibi has to, be friendly with whoever that is. However, the fact of the matter is that it's been on record, it's been said out loud that for sure Israel's had much better relations with the U.S. when Donald Trump, beyond any other president. There's no other president. So that was partly propaganda from Alex Jones, just the picture selection. And I want you to keep noticing these things. As much as I can point these type of things out on this channel, I will. I will continue on this podcast, on this platform, to whenever we should be looking for small, subtle things, pieces of propaganda, on how people are pushing things, how they're tailoring things, we're going to talk about it. I think it's only fair because in today's world, everybody wants to, be intellectuals. They want to, over intellectualize everything, and and sometimes it's just simple. Let's keep watching. It's like a word problem. Just keep focused on what the actual problem is. What's the formula? What's the solution to basically, figure this thing out? As this year comes to an end, I need you to hear something clearly. The crisis didn't end. Right now in Israel, 2.8 million people are living in poverty, struggling just to afford milk and bread. 1.2 million children go to bed hungry every night. The war didn't end when the sirens stopped. Over 100,000 people displaced families, and they are still rebuilding their lives. Real recovery doesn't happen in the headlines. It happens quietly, when there's a fridge that works again, when there's a hot meal, and when someone shows up and they stay. That's what Mayor Panim does. Food first, dignity first. If you are giving before year end, this is help that reaches the people right now. The people of Israel and the people of Jerusalem need your help. Give to a real organization, Mayor Panim, and reap the reward for an amazing blessing. So go to mayorpanim.org/Nissim to help today. That's MEIRPANIM.org/NISSIM. So Alex Jones says that Trump hates Netanyahu. And this was some of what the media was pushing out there, especially on the left-wing media. So, at some point, these things all align. But this is a perfect example, though, of how false narratives spread. Alex Jones claims that Trump hates Bibi Netanyahu and is completely detached from reality. You don't judge policy by vibes or by gossip. It's the same thing Candace is doing, right? Oh, I heard from somebody higher up told me. Somebody higher up told me that Trump cannot stand Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, this is the same. Who told you that? Who said that? Right? This is what I'm saying. It's like somebody else up there. They told me. I have sources that say. Right? You judge it by what you actually see. You see, we have actions. We have meetings. We have statements. We have actual outcomes. And Trump's record with Israel, it speaks for itself. Now, I want you to listen to what Trump says in his own words.
Are you concerned that Israel is not moving quickly enough to phase 2 of the peace plan?
Well, I'm not concerned about anything that Israel's doing. I'm concerned about what other people are doing or maybe aren't doing. But I'm not concerned. They've lived up to the plan. They're strong, they're solid, and sometimes they don't understand when somebody violates something that you want to give them a second chance. Well, we'll give them a couple of second chances. But no, Israel's lived up to the plan 100%. Don't forget, we made the plan possible by taking out Iran. And speaking of Iran, I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are, we're going to have no choice but very quickly to eradicate that buildup. So I hope Iran is not trying to build up, as I've been reading that they're building up weapons and other things. And if they are, they're not using the sites that we obliterated, but they're using possibly different sites. We know exactly where they're going, what they're doing, and I hope they're not doing it because we don't want to waste the fuel on a B-2. It's a 37-hour trip both ways. I don't want to waste a lot of fuel. Okay?
And you hear from himself. It just doesn't sound like what Alex Jones says. Now, this next clip matters because this now destroys the lie that supporting Israel means being anti-peace. You have to understand this. There is a world of thought or a school of thought today that would say that supporting Israel means that you're anti-peace, but Trump actually holds the opposite. Watch how Donald Trump frames strength and restraint at the same time. Now listen carefully, because this is where deterrence comes back into the conversation. This is where it comes.
If Iran will not have a deal, if Iran will continue with their ballistic missiles and also nuclear weapons.
If they will continue with the missiles, yes. The nuclear, fast. Okay? One will be yes, absolutely. The other will do it immediately.
I just don't think that Trump is playing. I just really don't. And nothing about this seems that him and Bibi are not aligned. In fact, in World Israel News, they actually reported from the conversation actually here, and you'll probably see in some other clips. I don't have that clip for you today, but you actually see where Trump says that they happen to be very much so aligned on almost every single thing. There's some small things that they may have some disagreements about, he said, but they are pretty much aligned hand in hand on everything, right? And this is real deterrence. This is not a speech. This is not UN resolutions, right? Iran only understands consequences. Same with the rest of these jihadist regimes. If they want war, if they are screaming for war, if they're screaming for the death to America, death for Israel, they only understand one language, right? As my beloved security detail security guard says, my Glock speaks Arabic. You understand what I mean? So I don't mean to say it like that, but it is what it is. You have to understand that there's only one way to deal with these people, and Trump understands that. So this is why I'm saying I can't take this off the table. I'm not seeing this thing where I'm really questioning what his values are, because once it just flows and when it comes out, we see where Trump is standing. So when Iran itself, now specifically, I'll go back to this. So when Iran knows that rebuilding all of its terror infrastructure leads to the pain, they will think twice, regardless of what they're saying. When they sense weakness, which Trump understands, that's when they start to escalate. That's when things start to get unstable in the region. This is why why the regime itself fears Trump. Not because he's reckless, but because he's very clear. And clarity is dangerous. It's dangerous to all of these people. Now, this next clip is one that a lot of these people who are running with this fairy tale idea of where Trump stands on all of this, they will not like this clip. They're just not going to like it. You'll see why.
You don't see Hamas disarm in that short amount of time that you're giving them. Can you tell us what the next steps would be?
It'll be horrible for them. Horrible. It's going to be really, really bad for them. And I don't want that to happen. But they made an agreement that they were going to disarm. We have many countries, 59 countries, that are in agreement. This is a real peace in the Middle East. And Hamas is a small part of it, but it's still a part of it. But we have 59 countries that signed on, big countries, countries that are outside of the Middle East, as you know the Middle East. They want to go in and wipe out Hamas. They don't want Israel. They don't need Israel. They want to do it because it's the right thing to do, because they were for the deal based on the fact that Hamas pledged, they swore that they were going to disarm. Now, if they're not going to disarm, those same countries will wipe out Hamas.
So the truth of it is, for all of those, who are naysayers or whatever the case, this shouldn't even be controversial. Hamas is not a government. Hamas is not a resistance movement. It is a genocidal terror organization. That's all it is. And every nation on earth, any person with common sense would respond the exact same way. Disarm or be destroyed. The line in the sand is very clear by Donald Trump. And this is the only way that Western civilization is going to survive, if you have leaders in place like him saying what it is that needs to be said and putting it out there, being very aware and cognizant of who the actual enemy is. And again, Iran itself is behind all of it. And Trump makes this crystal clear. He's going to make it clear one last time, just so everybody can see. Trump is making it clear where he stands on all of this. I can't believe people are coming with such delusions.
It has been greatly reduced in power, prestige. I don't want to use the word humiliation because, they're trying to build up again. But we can't let them build up, because if they build up, there can't be peace in the Middle East. It was a mistake. When they wiped out Iraq and Iran were about the same power. And they fought each other with different names for 1,000 years. And then our country came out and blew up one of those two countries, namely Iraq. And all of a sudden, Iran had the whole Middle East all to itself. But that's not true anymore.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, contrary to what you've been hearing, contrary to what Alex Jones said at the beginning of this clip as I played him, there seems to be no real daylight, as people would like to say, between Bibi Netanyahu and Trump, regardless of how you feel about any of them, right? There seems to be no daylight. So any idea that all this nonsense that's going on the internet is dividing and all this other stuff like that, I just don't think that things are as big as we think they are. They are what they are, but they're not as big as what we think they are. Not any rifts going on between this. And the way that Trump is approaching all of this is straight up. This is a line. This is through the line. Like literally, he's putting it out there so everybody can see. This is where he's standing. He's not allowing them to rebuild any of the terror. There's no second chances for any of these regimes that are funding any of the murder. There's no, moral confusion by him. It's been very clear. Trump, Netanyahu, and Israel are all aligned. There's one simple truth. Peace through strength. And peace comes only after evil's defeated, not before. We're not pandering to people. We're not trying to make peace with other people. There are some things, and I'm being honest with all of you. I can be very critical of some of the decisions that these two have made together. I can. I'm not supportive of every single thing. The West Bank, the biblical heartland of the Jewish people, of the world, even of all of those, if you believe in the Bible, that land, so-called the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, is so significant to any person that believes, worships, and serves the God of Israel. But like there is no piece of land, right? Apart from Jerusalem itself, I would say. But even most of ancient Jerusalem is not in Jewish hands. It's in, Palestinian, Arab hands, right? And Silwan, the neighborhoods over there. So there is a lot to be said about what could be improved based on, on where we are in terms of where we are aligned, Israel and America, right? At least from a biblical standpoint, for those of us who are Bible first, God first team. However, to make the claim that Trump is switching up or that he's a whatever, I just don't. There is things in front of us that seems that way, but Trump has a way of alluring things. So I just would caution anybody who's going to say automatically, oh, this must be what's happening. This has to be what's happening. I just say we have to watch this a little bit more. And I'm being cautious with pure honesty about this. And this is for all of those who care about these things the same way I do. What do you think, though? Please let me know. Make sure you like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. Now, there's been a lot of people. I've got a lot of messages, actually, overwhelming amount, even some privately, of people telling me that they're subscribing and somehow their subscription is being lost. I don't know how it's being lost. I don't know if it's a YouTube thing. I don't know what it is. But if you just double check that you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. But if you have subscribed, still double check it, because there's a lot of people saying that their subscription is somehow, not there the next time they come around and they have to subscribe again, which is always good. I mean, if I could unsubscribe and then subscribe to me, I also would. No, that sounds so arrogant, but it was funny at least. Anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a notification, and remember always to serve God or live trying. I'm out.